Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Legacy Speaks. I definitely am going to try to talk from the heart with this one. Previously, before I did a counselor chat with my clinical supervisor, and we were pretty much talking about how therapists need therapists too. Not only from a professional standpoint in terms of being able to relate to the client and being able to say, hey, I've been there too. Hey, I understand where you're coming from. I know what it's like to be on the other side of the couch or on the opposite side of the room. I find that there is this misconception that because we are so great at connecting the dots for other people, that we can literally solve our own life's problems as well. And that's totally not the case. I mean, granted, yes, we went to school for this profession, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult for us to even practice what we preach, or maybe completely separate from the scenario at hand. We're dealing with some stuff that we really need insight on. And so I just want to talk from a space of transparency about my own counseling journey and how that's been for me. I remember I first started going to therapy initially when I was in my graduate school program. This was between 2015 to 2017. And when I started therapy, I was in my internship at the time, and I had came across a client who I had countertransference with. There was a client who was sharing her story in group about a similar situation that I had experienced when I was younger. And I was just like, wait a minute, where are these where are these emotions coming from? Where are these thoughts and these feelings coming from? And immediately I went and found a therapist. Luckily, as a graduate student, I had the opportunity to take advantage of the counseling that was on campus, and thank God for that. But I knew that I really needed to dig a little deeper and dive a little bit deeper. Granted, thank you so much for for the therapist that was on campus, because he really did help me a lot. Now, this year, I intentionally looked for a woman of color, somebody that I felt could relate to my life experiences and my transitions, whereas previously, before, my counselor was a white male, which he was super dope, super cool. He addressed the fact that there were differences in our gender and differences in our race and ethnicity, and I was just so open with him because I knew I would never see him again. But this time around, I wanted to have a therapist who I knew could relate to some degree or level of my experiences. I definitely want to encourage you, if you come across a well-trained clinician or somebody who is amazing at what they do, or just literally credentialed for what they do and have that experience, don't disregard them simply because they are a different skin color than you. Don't disregard them or just kind of cancel them out because you may think that they can't provide you with insight based upon their experiences. As I mentioned before, I was previously diagnosed with a chronic liver disease called primary sclerosing cholangitis, which subsequently has caused ulcerative colitis as well. And so back in October, I went and did a follow-up, and my labs weren't looking too good. I really was not happy about it because I had did a complete total life change. I had changed the way that I was eating. I had completely eliminated alcohol. Still, you know, on my ups and downs with working out, but for the most part, I just felt like I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. Like, I can't change the fact that my immune system is literally attacking my liver. I can't change the fact that my immune system is literally causing my colon to attack itself, to flare up. And it gets frustrating. This is not how I expected my life to be right now, okay? Like, I remember when I was a kid, I used to be like,
you know what, wait till I get older, I'm gonna live my best life, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
No, kids, stay a child, okay? You remember when your mama used to be like, stay in a child's place? Yes, enjoy it. Because when them bills start rolling in, them bills really start rolling in. This is how you know adulting is stressful, right? When you get a bill and you look at the price and your chest start cramping up, right? Is it just me? Am I the only one? Oh, okay, all right, that's what I thought, right? And then you go and you press the button on the bill, right? You just feel like you just did a million chores. 1,000,001 chores. Every time I pay a bill, I just feel like I gotta go take a nap. I just be like, Ooh, child, it's time to go to sleep. It's time to go to sleep. Oh, I'm sorry, but this is real life, y'all. This is real life, right? So just the overall financial aspect of it all, whether it's paying for medications, trying to pay for your medical procedures, right? Looking at how close or how far away you are to fulfilling your deductible. That is just some real life stuff when it comes to chronic illness. I started, of course, getting overwhelmed, getting worked up, getting frustrated, all the while trying to manage my new job and the new house that I'm in as well. And I just needed help with navigating that transition and all the things that come with it. I think it's super important for all of us to take heed to the stuff that we're dealing with on a regular basis. Like I said, therapists, whether you're a psychiatrist, psychotherapist, psychologist, social worker, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whether or not you operate as a mental health professional or a lay person, it's very important for all of us to take heed to what we're experiencing. I just knew I couldn't be the best version of myself, not only socially but professionally as well, if I just didn't go and talk to somebody. And I know that may be counterintuitive to a lot of you guys who go to therapy or are even looking at therapists. It's just this irrational belief that helpers don't need help as well. You know, this belief that, oh, you're a therapist, you're a counselor, you are a mental health professional, why can't you take your own advice? Why can't you just take what you're teaching other people and apply it to yourself? It's literally easier said than done. Yes, I know what to do. Yes, I know what I should do, but that doesn't mean that I'm exempt for not needing to verbally speak with somebody. It doesn't mean that I don't need my hand held and walk through the same exact process as well. My personal issue is that I stay in my head so much that it creates anxiety, and I get to a place of trying to manipulate and control the circumstances instead of leaving them up to my higher power, whom I call God. And then when I'm shifting and trying to make things happen, I'm putting more pressure on myself because it doesn't quite turn out the way that I personally expect them to turn out, right? Can you relate? Right. When I came to my therapist, I told her straight up, like, sis, I just want to emotionally vomit on you. I really want to get out of my head. One thing that I want you to be mindful of, especially if you're trying to start your own therapeutic journey, is that what you initially started therapy for will potentially open up Pandora's box for a plethora of other issues or underlying problems that you never addressed before. So for example, for me, I initially went to therapy for chronic illness, but that kind of led into concerns of the lack of self-acceptance, lack of self-confidence, always second-guessing myself, perfectionism, trying to compartmentalize different aspects of myself, the struggles that I have with forming healthy relationships with other people, the expectations that I have not only of myself but of others as well, and how that's impacted my ability to be able to trust others. Like literally, I just thought I would just come in and just talk about me being stressed out about what PSC has done to my life, but after that, I literally got into so many other things. And so I just want you to be mindful of that as well, because you may be going to see your therapist for issues with your mother, or you may be going to therapy for a work stressor. But I'm pretty sure once you start talking and getting to the root of things, you're gonna begin to connect the dots. And when you get to that stage, don't be afraid, don't quit, don't back down. I really, really encourage you to be relentlessly honest with yourself and to be trusting enough with your clinician. That way you can begin to start working through those things that have pretty much held you back. When you find a therapist, when you start that therapeutic journey, you always want to walk away with something that you had not realized previously before. You should always have some level of aha or clarity or peace of mine. And then on the flip side too, because I know I've been in sessions that have literally made me uncomfortable, but I had to literally push through. It was as if my therapist has been the midwife for all of these thoughts and emotions that I have typically avoided. And this is just me being me, because I'm very goal oriented and very future focused. I have a tendency of suppressing my emotions or kind of putting them to the back burner so that I can get things done. Yes, I might have lost somebody, but I don't have time to grieve right now because I have to get prepared for this presentation. I'll wait for it. Or yes, I'm very sad about this and disappointed about this breakup, but I don't have time for that right now because I'm trying to move to another state. That's literally how I've operated and thrived throughout my life. And obviously that's very unhealthy. But throughout this process, I've learned to identify certain character defects and certain maladaptive behavioral patterns. That way I can change them for the future. I'm not in my 30s yet, but I find that this whole journey is setting me up for the next decade, for the next best thing. And I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to invest in myself, because therapy is an investment. Woo child, therapy is an investment. But with me doing this now at the age of 28, I can be able to help my future child, my future daughter, my future son. It helps me to build a better foundation for when my spouse comes. You know, by doing the work on me, it helps me to become a better leader, a better creative, a better communicator, a better employee, a better counselor. You know, it just makes me an overall better person. It increases self-awareness and it increases mindfulness on how I move throughout the universe. So I really want you to choose 1 to 2 things that you may feel are presenting issues, and allow your journey to unfold. Allow every up and down, every rolling hill, every valley, every swish and turn of the river, allow it to come and allow it to fully manifest in your life. No matter how uncomfortable it is. I think this is just amazing. And I can only speak for myself, but if you have been in the therapeutic journey, if you have been in therapy, hit the comments below. Let me know how it has impacted you, and let us know what insight you've gained for yourself. And just let's be real. How do you see it impacting the legacy that is coming after you? How do you see it helping generations upon generations later on? Okay, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Legacy Speaks. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and definitely stay connected via Legacy SPKS on everything. Until next time.